Hi lads, so we're going to look at our output 4 and output 7, which is our drawing sheets for our project. So output 4 is the main one. They're both pretty much the same, except for output 7 will need a photorealistic, which I'll do a separate video for later. So I think in most cases, most guys are going to have one page for this because you will have done 3 pages for output 5. Um, so what I've done, I'm doing it based on that. I have already done a similar page there for a travel mug. That's it. They're just to lay it out. So this just it's like all the rest of it. There's certain things you need to include in it. So this sheet here, which is in your notes, will go through what has to be on it. So in this output, you have to have detailed orthographic views, a rendered pictorial, and an exploded view. Now, the actual brief says it's an exploded view mainly, but you do have to include a rendered pictorial as well. Now, in the actual drawing sheet, there's certain little settings you need to change at the end. It just makes the drawing a bit more crisper, and we'll go through them there. This page here is simply the checklist. So if you can tick the box and say that you have that done on your drawing sheet, then you should be able to get full marks for this particular part. And the drawing sheet really is about showing off the work that you've done on SolidWorks. So you've got to draw the examiner towards the areas that you spend time on. You're the only one that knows that, so it's important you do that. So I have a blank A3 drawing sheet open. The condition here is this needs to be saved into the same folder that the assembly is in. So I'm just going to go file and save that into the same folder that my assembly is in. It's in this one here. Now I'm going to call that, I already have a part A drawing sheets in there, but I might just change that part A. I'm going to just call it D sheet, but call it drawing sheet because I already have a file in there. It's the same name. So, okay. A couple of small things to go through with it. Title box, we need to give information down here. This little symbol down here is very important. That's third angle projection. That needs to be on your drawing sheet. So I have 3 sheets set up here. So you may not need all 3. You may only need 1. You may need 2. So if you want to delete a sheet, it's always right click and delete it. So you're not going to need that third one. I won't need that third one. I won't need the second one either. Now, next thing I want to just check, right click and go properties and just check that that's first angle projection. If it's on third angle, just click first angle and click apply changes. So mine is already done. Next thing I'm going to do is in the title box here, I'm going to add my details. So to do that, I right click anywhere in the drawing area and I go edit sheet format. And in here, I'm going to put in my uh, part A, do all in capital letters actually. Part A drawing sheet. And a little bit smaller if you want it all along one line. Mightn't have to. No, it's not going to work. So that's fine. That's okay there. So down here in exam number, I'm going to leave out the exam number and I'm going to put in, I had it done here earlier. I'll just see what I put into this one here. So I put part A drawing sheet, leave insert DCG. Yeah, okay, so we'll do the same here. This is not important, this sort of stuff. So I'm going to double click that. The text is there already, can be overwrote. So DCG, again, capital letters, DCG project. Travel mug 2022. Yep, that's that much done. You can make it bigger if you want one like that. You can just double click on it again, it'll highlight, and you can make that text bigger or whatever size you want to do. 16 is definitely too big. 14 looks about right. Okay, so that's actually it's not. I'm just going to get rid of that. So we leave it there at 12, and we can move that slightly as well there if we have to. Just they're only small things, but they do make a difference when you format stuff. So what I'm going to do is actually make that 10, and I'll make it bold. And I'm going to center that there pretty much. Okay. Now, so when you're that done, what you need to do now is you need to right click again in the drawing area and go edit sheet. So out here, right click, edit sheet. So that kind of locks this down and you can't touch it again until you go right click and edit sheet format again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in my assemblies for it. So what I go here is view layout, I go model view. and I go to double click the assembly. Mine is already there. If yours is not there, just search for it. Click preview here. All right, it's already defaulted to be the front view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in that, just drop that there, and I'm going to be happy enough with that. You could bring them down like this, do all of them together, but I prefer to do them separately. So I'm just going to press correct there. Now, so I'm going to bring in a view. I'm going to go project a view, and I'm going to click this, and that'll project a view out here. I'm not going to worry about the end view yet. I'm going to select this one here, and I'm going to bring it down from my plan, and I'm going to select it again. I'm going to bring out an end view out there like that, and I'm going to bring one out there like that. So I'm probably not going to use all them. Happy enough with that. I can press correct. Now, in relation to sizes, I can move that around there. I'm up and down. There are my 3Ds. So in relation to the size of them, you can change them around yourself. Everyone's going to be different. What you do is go use custom scale, and that's 1:2. If you want to make it bigger, you can go 1:1.5. That will be slightly bigger than that. Press correct, so it is quite bigger. It's a lot. It's a bit bigger there. I think 1:2 will work for most people. You can see that it's these have all been updated because I projected them from it. I built these ones from that one there, so they're all updated. So I leave that there for a moment. I think it's 1:2 probably works better for this particular mug, so I might just change that back. So 1:2. They're defaulted, but as I said, you can change that just by clicking on that and making it smaller. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this one here. I'm going to add hidden details. So to do that, I'm going to click on this one here, and I don't want. I'm actually going to put this one over this side, and I'm going to leave that one there without hidden detail. So I'm just going to press escape on its own, and that one there has no hidden detail. Okay, now a couple of little things there. If I go through my notes, so what are we going to have to put in here? We're going to have detailed orthographic views, rendered pictorial, and we're going to have exploded view. Okay, so back to SolidWorks. So there's my drawing sheet. I'm going to put in something called a section view next. So a section view is basically if you're to cut through the actual object, that's it there, slice down through it. So I'm going to take my section view to here. I'm actually going to use two of them, but I'll show you what the second one is in a minute. So my section view, I go up here to section view, it's under view layout, and I'm going to just click there, put it in the middle, and I'm going to press correct, and I select auto hatching. If that's not already selected, just select that, press OK, and it'll bring that out there for me. Okay, so that looks good. So it's after chopping it in half there. Now, so that's that. Tighten them up a small bit. I'm going to bring that up there, and I'm going to bring that across. Maybe I'll space them out a little bit more in a few minutes. Okay, so looks good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my notes to name the views. That's important. So note under each of the views. So I'm just going to put it in here. It's probably going to be too tight for a minute, but I'm going to type in front, again, capital letters. Okay, and I'm going to make them, it's nice to add color at this stage. So I'm going to make them ones there. I'm going to put them in red. Okay, and so I'm happy enough with that. I'm going to come down here. So instead of clicking out, click it there. And I'm going to overrule that with plan. And I'm going to come here. Click again. And I'm going to call that my elevation. I want to change them to the same color. Escape there if it goes wrong. Same color, so double click on it. It should bring up there, it does, and I'm going to make that red as well. And again, I can change the size of it if you want as well. And I'm going to double click here. Again, change it to all the same. It's just to introduce color to the sheet. It shows the examiner that you can do certain things. So I'm going to select the section AA as well. And I'm also going to make that red. So I'm going to keep that consistent through my sheet, that the name of the views will be red always. Now, it's important, small things. Now that's a delete there. This plan is going in there. So right click, actually just select it and press delete on the keyboard. So to leave a little box there, again, just select it, press delete on the keyboard again. So if I look at that there now, I'm going to just set it up a little bit better. I'm going to bring down that plan view a small bit. This is somewhere linked it, so I'm going to put that there. It's always good to have all the text along a line, so you can see there that'll match up. Should match up with the other one across. So let's try and have it centered, and even this one over here. Try and have that there, and plan we center that as there as well. Okay, so that's my front elevation plan in view. You can see I'm not going up into the margin. It looks a bit messy if you do. The next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add dimensions. So it does say to you in the notes here that just the checklist. So detailed orthographic view, section view, we have that done. Main dimensions included. Okay, and set the decimal places to 0, which we'll look at in a minute. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go to Sketch Smart Dimension, and I'm going to do it so that I'm going to do a circle maybe. So I'm going to select that edge there, and I'm going to bring that out there like that. Now yours will be probably in black. I had changed mine from an earlier drawing, so don't mind that that's red. I'm going to show you how to change the color there in a second. So I'm going to add maybe a height here as well. Okay, that shouldn't have went there, so I'm just going to select that and delete. I use the keyboard. So maybe from there. Down as far as there. And simple things like having the dimension right in the middle or roughly in the middle of the drawing makes a big difference to neatness. So try and have that centered. Don't have dimensions on top of each other. Maybe 5 or 6 dimensions is more than enough. So where else will I put in? I'll put in something over here, maybe that the lid from here. Again, it's just to show the examiner that you're able to use dimensions. So again, they're not coming out right for me. Select, delete. So something like that. That's the 20 there. Again, to try and center that. And you can put in, as I said, put in 5 or 6 more, whatever ones you want. And you can put them in any view at all. Just don't have them going on top of your text and so on. So I'm happy enough with that. Except I just want to move that so that's centered. Usually this will pick up a line and just show you there's a line going straight across. Now that them dimensions, I want to actually change them to a different color from red. So to do that, when I'm going to go up here, it's this little wheel here, and I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to go to document property. Actually, sorry, colors here. It's under system options, so color. And just scroll down here and scroll down until you come to D for dimensions. And we want to do I think it's the non-imported driven. Then once there, and we're going to edit that, and I'm going to make mine that blue color. So the non-imported, you can give whatever color you want. Click OK, and they've now gone blue. So they're just slightly different color to the red. Okay, so that's another one. So just add a few colors there like that. Okay, so look at the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at maybe bringing in my assembly. So I'm going to put that assembly down here. All right. So there we are. If you find that looks too complicated, you can always change that away from just select it. If you like, just keep that like that. If you want to have it like that, have one of them in with all the detail, hidden detail and all shown, at least one of them. The other two can be left as they are. Now, the other thing I want to do here is in the 2D drawing is just one last little thing was hidden lines visible is selected for one of them. Tangent edges removed is selected. That's important because it just tidies up the drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select right click here and I'm going to go tangent edges, tangent edge removed. Okay, so it just takes away all that kind of messy stuff, messiness there on that. Same thing on, they generally say to do this on your 2D drawings. So tangent edge removed. Okay, now I think I'd leave that one on just it looks a bit plain. So tangent edge with font. Tangent edge with font actually works a little bit better. And again, decide yourself what you want to do there. So this one here, tangent edge with font works well, which with the ends. So you can just play around, see which one works better. Anyway, so back here to this one here. So I'm going to get that, and I'm going to go to that there, okay? Or even this one here looks even better again. So it was on like that, which is a nice drawing as well. It shows a bit of detail, but we go with this one here for today. Okay, so that's my pictorial. I'm going to do that, leave that for a minute. I'm probably not going to use this one up here, so I'll come back to it in a second. The next thing I want to do is put in my explode view. So I'm going to go model view, bring in your assembly again, but this time I'm going to turn on my preview. I'm going to go to show in exploded state. So when that comes in there, it's coming in straight. I don't like them in straight. I always prefer to put them in one of the 3D. So I'm going to bring it in there in trimetric projection. You can try isometric if you want, whichever works best for you. I'm going to drop that in there. Now, when I did that earlier, when I brought in mine, it wasn't working right. It was going off the page. It wasn't fitting there snugly. So I'm going to show you now to change that and be able to see it. So you're going to change in the assembly. So again, that probably isn't the best assembly that ever. Maybe if I change it from one of the other 3D views, it might be a little bit better. But as it stands, it's definitely not. It's not showing that much. That one is slightly better because it's not actually it's not clustering. If you look at the trimetric, if you look at the isometric, I should say, this is kind of being covered by that. So I'm going to go. What does trimetric looks like? Not bad. I think I'm going to go trimetric. It gives a better picture of it. So I'm going to press correct there. Now, just there, for example, that ring was going off up the page. I can just say it happened to go up there, wouldn't fit on. What I can do is I can change that and it'll update the drawing. So what I'm going to do, and I already have it opened here, I have my assembly opened underneath this drawing sheet. So if you open your assembly, that's actually not that one there. So there's my assembly there for that particular one. So I'm just going to bring this in here, and you'll be able to see it in a second. So I'm going to try and get so the two of them are on the screen at the same time. I'm going to press F there for that. Just leave that there for a second just to get it to fill the screen a bit more. Now, at the same time, this one here, I'm going to explode that out first of all. So right click, explode. Now, just say, for example, the ring was too high and I wanted to no, so the two of them are side by side there. There will be in a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to this little symbol. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to edit the exploded view. So I'm just going to say move that down a small bit. So if I move it down, edit exploded step, it allows me just to change what I had done already. So bring it down a bit further and I press correct there. Now, if I go back into my drawing sheet, that will automatically update for me. Now, well, it should have updated for me. So if I press back here to this, and I even collapse that again, explode, yes, and I collapse. So I brought that down a bit. I'll move that down as well. So you can play around with that yourself if you want. So that's basically all them in there. The next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in names for each of these views. I don't think I'm going to use this one here. So I'm going to delete that. So just select it and delete that. I'm going to add in names again. For that, you're going to annotations, note, and for this one here, I'm going to call this is rendered assembly. And I'm going to color these ones in maybe in green or something like that. Put it in bold. Okay, and I'm also going to use the same up here. Put that, so we call this one a rendered exploded view. Again, you can spend more time deciding. Actually, put this underneath it. I prefer just its habit more than anything else is to put the name underneath it. So it is important that you label stuff like that. And I'm going to make that bigger, bold, and I make it green as well. So I'll put that in there. And this one here. Again, same size text for everything. There's small little things that you kind of have to do for this, that they will expect from you. So there's them two done now. So there's one nice little thing that I thought if it worked particularly well this year, and that is for this one here. Let me show you the drawing sheet I've done already. So this drawing sheet here, I like this one here. Okay, so it's another section view, but you can actually make it into a 3D to cut through it. It'll show off your detail inside. And so how you're going to do that is this. You're going to go into your drawing sheet again. You're going to do another section view. So under view layout, you go section view, and I think it's this time we're going to draw it here. We're going to select horizontal actually, and we're going to put it like that. In fact, it might be vertical. We'll try it. It's actually, sorry, it's not horizontal. It's this one here. So I X that. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to put one here again, which is vertical, and I'm going to press correct. Auto hatching, press OK, and I'm just going to bring this one, just bring it out there for a moment. Now, that's no use to me like that. What I want to do is right click in the drawing area within that piece and go to alignment and go break alignment. And then what we're going to do is right click and we're going to go to isometric section view. Now, it didn't do it the right way. Actually, the first way I had it was correct. So I'm going to delete that again. So we're going to do that section view again. So it was, just let me check that for sure. Yeah, okay, so we're going to this one here. I was right the first time. I'm happy enough. Press correct. Auto hatching. Press OK. And we're going to bring it up here like that, just for now, just temporarily, okay? So again, now what I'm going to do is in the drawing area, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to alignment, break alignment. It just means that it'll take it to let me move it anywhere on the page. If I don't break the alignment, it stays there and up either above or below. So what I'm going to do is right click again in it and I'm going to go to isometric view. Again, this is the one I want. So I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to put it in beside my pictorial view, either side of whatever way it works best for you. So you've got to use your space as economically as you can. In fact, that text looks probably slightly better above there. And we'll move that over to there. And again, we'll move this one beside it. So again, it's just, you know, they say drawing sheets only take a couple minutes. They do only take a couple minutes, but you do need to give a bit of time to laying it out, to lay it out. So we're going to just save that. So yours won't be as slow as this now because it's just that I have a lot of drawing files open at the minute. Okay, so that's that we have so far. Now, there you might have noticed there in my last drawing sheet. Now, what I have in is one of these little bill of materials here. So what that is, it just lists off all the materials. It looks pretty well. So we're going to do that here on this drawing sheet as well. So what I'm going to do that, I'm going to go insert, table, and bill of materials. And what you do is you select what you want the bill of materials. I think the assembly is probably the best one to do it off this year. You could select this one if you wanted as well. I'm going to select the assembly view. I'm just going to press correct parts only. Actually, just try that. Select that parts only if it's not already done. Press correct, and it puts in a table. You can just drop it anywhere you want for now, like so. Now, it takes up a lot of room as it is like that. So what I prefer to do is get rid of this column. So to do that, what I do is I select it, I right click in it, and I have to go select column, and then I go back and go right click again, select, delete column. And again, you can tighten it up a small bit there if you want to make it a bit smaller. Drag it in. You can squash that down and bring it in there to whatever you have to bring it to. Just if you're only dealing with one page, you are going to be quite limited with space. So you've got to use it as wisely as you can. Right, so that's my table, and that looks good. So I'm going to move that again. Where you put that on the sheet, even there's a bit of thought to it. I know I'm going to put it up here for maximizing my space. Don't have it too far away from where you're actually what you're using it for. So that's that there. One other clever little thing now is to go insert or view. Insert annotations and auto balloon. And what you do is you select this object and it puts this nice little numbers on to represent the item number here and here. So press correct and move them into better positions so that you can see them. Don't have them on top of that there. So like so. And one again, you can play around that. There's one other thing I've seen that a lot of people doing recently is just double click on the line here. You can change these shapes if you want. Just double click on that and you can change the lines to be like so. So it puts kind of a spline on it more so. You can change the head of the shape of the head if you want as well. So press correct. If you don't want them as circles, you want to put them in a different color, different shape, it lets you do it. Where did I see it? Where I seen that a minute ago. Yeah, so look at this. It's you can circle looks as pretty good as any. So that's just auto balloon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just laid them out a little bit differently. Now you can see there when I moved my assembly there, it pulled that way down the page there. That's what I was trying to get back at. So if I just show you for an example how we're going to work on that. There's my part A exploded view assembly. So if I explode that, see that went way down there. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to, it's the first step. I'm going to edit that step. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up quite close because it's taken it's taken off up too much space. Up a bit closer like that. Press collect. And I'm happy enough with that. And I'm going to press save. So every time you make a change to it like that, you have to save it. And now if I go back to my drawing sheet, it should build. If it doesn't, just check the traffic light. Not sure why that's not doing that. No, so maybe if it collapses, it probably does it. Explode. Right click, collapse. No, so there it has brought it up to me there, which is what I wanted. So I just needed to collapse it before I came out of it. So I want to move that balloon there. That's what I'm talking about when I say the sloppiness stuff. No, so that's that one there. Now, for these, for all these pictorials, I think the best thing to do is to set them. Just happy there for a second. Is to set them with this real view graphics. Set them with. I think this one looks better with shaded. It gives a more realistic view there as well. Um, and then the other one's right click, and this one definitely looks better with tangent edge with font. Okay, so that's already done for me, which is good. Section view changed that there. So the other thing we're going to look at now is we're going to look at bringing in maybe an individual part. So in my drawing sheet here, other drawing sheet that I did earlier on, I brought in just the lid to show you um, that piece there. So I have a couple of ways of doing that. I can bring in the part itself. So again, you go model view and you browse to the lid and you click open. Okay, and there it is there. I don't want it like that. I want that in isometric. For some reason, that's not coming in that great for me because, oh, the lid is coming in the lid only without the actual slider, and I wanted the slider on it. So if I can bring it apart like that, if I want, I can change the font of it. What I'm going to do actually instead is I'm going to bring in the actual assembly again. So I'm going to go model view, and I'm going to bring in that assembly there, and I want it to be in a isometric view. Now, it's not showing me there's an opening in that cup that I'd like to see. So a couple options I have here. I can bring that in and I can change the color of it. What I can do here, I can right click that area and I can go to component, show hide component. So it gets rid of that. I can select that one there, right click, show hide component there as well. So it brings in the whole assembly. There's two parts. There's a slider here and there's a lid itself, but I still can't see what I wanted in there. So I'm not really that happy with that particular one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just delete that and I'm going to go back into my assembly. So control and tab brings you over to the drawings. Uh, just go back here to the parte assembly. So I want to be able to see that assembly when it's like there's the opening in it there. I want to be able to see that when there's a bit better view. So if I go F, so I'm going to bring it to focus there. It's not bad. I want to see that there like that. Okay, so when I hold that view, so what I do is I press spacebar and there's a little symbol here with a little splash beside it, new view, and I'm going to call that lid lid um, lid view. Okay, it doesn't make a difference what you call it, just only for your own sake. Press OK. What happens when I press spacebar now? I have all the different options. So I had lid pictorial from earlier on, lid view there. I've exploded view, whatever I used that for. I had all them saved from earlier on today. So again, they're all going to be there. I'm going to just go save because once I create a new view, I have to save it. I'm going to go back now to my drawing sheet. This time now, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to go model view, parte assembly, and I don't like that one there. I'm going to go, they're all here for me. So lid view. Yeah, that actually looks the best of them there. So I could have used the other ones there if I wanted. So I'm going to pop that in there. I'm going to make that here. Again, I don't want the whole cup coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the body, right click then. So select it, then right click on it. Show hide components gets rid of that part. Select the lid, right click, or select the base there, show hide component, and that gets rid of it there for me as well. Now that's quite small, so I think I'm going to make it bigger. So to do that, I'm going to go down here to use custom scale, and I'm going to make that 1:1.5. So 1:1.5. See what that looks like. That didn't work properly for me. I'm going to do that again. 5. That looks pretty good. Again, I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put a label underneath it as well. And I'm going to explain why I have it. It's a small little note to explain why I'm going to put it in there. So that's that much put in there. You can put in parts if you want. Now, there's one last area that we're going to use as well. So these are called detailed views, and this is where you have to show the examiner where you spent all your time because they're not going to automatically find this for you. So detailed views, say for example these grooves over here, I want to see them a bit bigger than they are because a lot of work gone into that. So what I do is I put like a ball around it, whatever size you want. So there, and what it does is it doesn't explode a view. Now if I bring that over here, it's no bigger than what it was at that point. But what I can do is I can make them bigger by changing the scale. So here we might use either, see what 2:1 looks like. So they give you default options. So 2:1 is slightly better, yeah. So you might even go 2.5:1 if you feel like changing it. Now, so that's that there. Now, I would also put in a note there underneath that just to explain what it is. It's the ribs, uh, ribs, bottom of cup, and maybe if you whatever feature used, uh, create it with revolve cut. And this is just, something I put in myself. Again, if you want to put that text in a completely different color to what you used already, or maybe you don't want to, that's fine. So all them little areas that you're going to put in time. So say, for example, you could do a balloon run of this one here, where you have the sliding mechanism, or whatever part you want. So fill up your sheet with all the space. Space is premium. The only thing I'll say to you is that don't cluster stuff. So in other words, that there, the A has gone up into the margin. You shouldn't have any draw on the margin. So bring that down just to within touching distance of it. Don't have dimensions top of it. So again, we just move the plan up a small bit if we want it. Um, okay, so bits like that. Now, I just want to go back into our sheet here to have a look. So look at what I said here was take the time to figure out the three views. Well, I done the trial sheet first. Make lines visible, hidden lines visible. I said that's just show hidden detail in one of the three orthographic views. Set tangent to edges removed. That's when you go into a view, right click. In 2D, in the orthographics, you have them removed. Label your views, so we have that done. Add any relevant annotations. There's one little area there I want to go through that it was automatically done on mine from before. But sometimes when you bring in these measurements, they will be in point 00 or they'll be in decimal placement. So you can change that if you want it by just going to none there and none there. But if you that'll make you have to do it each individual. If you want to do them all in one go, you can go options and you can go to document properties and you go to units and you change all of these here to none. If you scroll up, you'll find them. So scroll up there, none. Change all of them to none. It will automatically do them all as for you. So no decimal places. Click OK. It works better like that. So that's what that one was about. So again, here we have rendered is such as isometric with shaded with edges, tangent edges with font. Set image quality to maximum from smoother circles is important. All right. So we're going to look at the shaded with edges is this one here. So sorry, it's this one here. Shaded with edges. I personally think shaded without edges is better. Some years, depending on the object, the travel mug definitely looks better with shaded without edges. Now, for the display here, we have to go to options again. You might notice that the circles kind of appear very like they're almost like drawn with a ruler. So what you have to do there is go to um, uh, image qualities under here, and you bring that up there as high as you can put it. So the only thing when you bring it up higher here, you will find that it is going to slow your machine right down. So you'll hear the machine laboring. You don't do it till the very, very end. If you do it too early, the machine will actually crash. So again, what I said there is keep adding in little bits, be it parts or these detailed views, anywhere there's space to put them on your sheet without having it too clustered, obviously, to show off what the work that you've done on SolidWorks. If you have a second sheet and you can afford it, you can start the same thing again, bring in an assembly or and start doing details views all around that as well. So finally, just have a look at the check sheet there. So again, just go through all of that and make sure that you can say, yeah, I have all of them done. If you have, then you have to get most of the marks for it. Other than that, there's not really a lot else to do on the sheets. You can print them directly from SolidWorks if you want, and that I think covers practically everything that I wanted to get through there on that. So I have an orthographic, I have a section view, I have my assembly, I have an exploded view, I have a bit of bill of materials, I have a detailed view. I put in a few more detailed views if I was doing that again. I have my lid. Again, if you bring in a view, it's important you put a label on it. So any questions, just you can ask.